Thank you for coming, Paramahansa. My first question is, what do you see as humanity's greatest spiritual opportunity right now?
To invigorate the flame. But let's talk about it from a more human perspective. It goes down again to the stillness. Buddha refers to the breath, and I am pointing to the inner stillness. When you go to the core of your being, wherever that may be within you, you can go to the core of each chakra, or you can go to the core of your brain, or you can go to the core of your heart, or to the core of your lungs. There's a focal point. There's a centrum in each place. And in this core is where the power resides. In this core is the stillness. But in this stillness, you also experience the amplitude of the Almighty One. So when you go still, as I request you to now, imagine the core of your heart and go into that and experience the stillness. And in that stillness, you know there is power. Alex.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Where does hope reside when the material structures of the world are collapsing?
I will answer that question. But after that, I would like you to try to ask me one question that comes from your higher self.
Okay.
So may you repeat that question, please.
Where does hope reside when the material structures of the world are collapsing?
We must collapse in order to expand. The body dies at some point and returns to earth. And new bodies come. And your soul is reborn. It's a natural process of life. To have structures collapse. You see, structures that existed in those times were good for those times. The industrial age that came was good for those times, but now we're moving onto better times as we move into new revelations, new ways of using science and technology. How then would one question this when one is using the old ways of using horses? We have moved on. We no longer need to ride with horses. And so let go of the idea that there's a collapse only. With the collapse must come a rising. And in that rising, new things are formed. And so for this next one question, I want to speak to your higher self.
How can we awaken? How can we discover who we truly are?
Now we're talking soul to soul. This is something that you, as a human, feel the desire for people as brotherhoods, sisterhoods, humanhoods, as I do with you as well. For humanity, how can one awaken? How can one experience an awakening? And is an awakening all relevant? What does awakening mean? It's the same when you have salt in your mouth. One can handle a little bit, and yet others put more salt in their mouth because they can't even taste a little bit. When you experience a sense of energy coming through you, it may show up in the form of heat. goosebumps, a vision, a sense of something inside of you. This experience you're having comes from the omnipresence, and it is just a bit, particle of this experience. How do you experience more of just the particle? One has a tendency to think that they can just expand and think of more great things. But to experience more of the power, you go into the core of the particle. So when you want to awaken, you go into the core of yourself. You awaken yourself through this core. When you awaken yourself through this core, you experience the centrum. And in that, you out-breath this core to the center of others. So to have the inner peace, you experience the core within others. You experience their inner core. You breathe in your inner core, you exhale, and you breathe into their inner core. And you create a symbiosis between the two. And in that symbiosis comes rising the awakening. For to be awakened within oneself, one must see the awakened one within others. When you see the awakened one within others, you experience the great awakening within yourself. Because you cannot be awakened without experiencing it within someone else. This is why humanity needs other people. Not just the select few, but every single one. And your greatest enlightenment is when you can experience this coreness in the person that you like the least. For when you can get to that stage, you know your work is done.
Yogananda, how can we find balance within our own lives to balance our spirituality with living as a human in this realm, in this world?
When you can understand that the solutions do not come from your limited mind. When you can let go of the worry that you have to figure it all out yourself, and instead understand that there's a higher intelligence that knows the answers for you, that you get to experience teachings, guidance in ways that you had not thought possible. It is impossible for you to make leaps and strides of change in your life to obtain balance if you think that you have the answers, or if you think that someone else does. Instead, err on the side of caution towards your own inner thinking, and realize that there is a higher thinking that you are still connected to, and this higher thinking can give you the guidance you need to produce the miracles you so wish for, but will produce the miracles in ways you had not thought of. And so therefore your miracles will be much different than the miracles you thought you could have. This is an opportunity for you to go to the core and realize that the answers are here for you, to stabilize yourself in this understanding that the answers are here for you, and to reestablish the firm footing that this core is the one who will give you everything you need.
How can Western and Eastern spiritual paths harmonize to uplift mankind?
By understanding that we are one. This is occurring at greater speeds than you realize. For the earth is already changing, and humanity is already becoming one. The whole COVID scenario was a wonderful thing to awaken humanity, to understand that we can all communicate and connect with each other worldwide. This was a brilliant thing that happened for humanity, so that we can all cherish each other from across the worlds. The last frontation is the political realm. And now the political realm must catch up with humanity, for humanity has realized that they are all connected, that they are all wonderful beings on this earth through all our different cultures, through all our different skin colors, through all our different ways. And now politics is on its way to catch up. And it is going to catch up faster than you realize, because behind politics are people, and behind people are the greater world of people. And those people have stood up and said no more. Those people are the ones who are glorifying the witness of the Holy One, the witness of the Lord who is here to bring forth the great foundation on earth, the great spiritual foundation, to bring forth a new rising. So this is the time where we are ushering in a new day as a collective consciousness, and we need not worry about times going astray, for times are now becoming one, as we are all becoming one, for the earth is rising, and for we are ready to experience this oneness on earth, this oneness amongst kingdom come, the oneness of the heaven on earth, the oneness of humanity and the oneness of politics, the oneness where we all rise and politicians all learn to love each other, where we understand that we will have differences, but where we will honor each other in our differences and give respect for one another, for we see the core within each one. And in that core, we realize that the divine is resting in a still space within them in the most profound way possible. And in that, we will continue to be a loved nation.
To watch the full video, click on the link below. And don't forget to subscribe.